expounding on Erwin's many, many aesthetic, moral, and social failures. And now I'm rolling mythic manipulation. But basically, Gengyo's going to start off with, oh, you want to talk about retards, drug addicts, people you hate, the vermin of the world, right? He says, you want to talk about people who are worse than your Chinese, right? He says, let me tell you. And he goes off, right?
Now, you can resist mythic manipulation, Tony?
You can. Well, there's no
I mean,
roll.
I have Jaded, so bear in mind you'd be rolling into Jaded.
There's no roll. Yeah, I'm well aware you have Jaded. There's no roll to resist mythic manipulation. However, is Burns willing to hear Gengyo's tale? Is Burns a willing target?
He's willing to hear it. He did ask.
Is Burns willing to have his compulsion removed?
Well, surely... Maybe it would be Iron Will. He doesn't have Iron Will.
Well, either way...
He's willing to hear his viewpoint. You can go to town if you really want to.
Well, what I'm doing... I'm going to make the mythic manipulation roll now to start removing flaws and shit.
Right.
So are you willing or are you not? Because it does affect my difficulty.
Well, he'll be willing to listen to you, so for this one, absolutely.
Okay. So what's your willpower?
His willpower is 7.
Okay. And do you have Jaded? Or sorry, do you have Iron Will?
No.
You don't have Iron Will. Lovely.
No.
So 7. Okay. So Gengyo goes on a long-winded fucking rant, right? Like, it's absolutely fucking balls to the wall. It's got to take at least an hour. 9, 10. All right. Let's talk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. And how much is the hatred flaw?
For what?
Well, you're getting hatred, Erwin.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's always at 3, I think. Yeah, it's always at
beautiful.
It's always
okay.
At 3.
So all of the flaws you listed to me earlier. So that's nightmares, snake Jews, compulsion, MSSB, twisted upbringing, and vengeful. They're gone.
Oh wow.
And they are replaced by hatred, Erwin. And I spend the necessary willpower to make all of those changes permanent. So that's 5 willpower.
That's the spice. That is the spice. No more Snake Jew nightmares. It doesn't remove hatred women or hatred Judaism, but
well, it's not necessarily over yet, right? Because basically Gengyo's going to launch into the whole thing about how Erwin turns school children into Fomori, and he smells, and he's homeless, and he's rude, and he acts cool to everybody, and then he eventually fucks them over, and he's a liar, and you can't trust him, right? So that's the shtick that Gengyo goes off on Erwin. And the way Gengyo frames it is Erwin is so fucking bad that cleansing the earth of him is, it's enough of a worthy cause that fuck the government brainwashing. Like, you could be a real fucking man, you could be a real fucking hero if you take that guy out, yada yada yada. Like, he paints Erwin as just the absolute antichrist. And he absolutely makes sure to insinuate that Erwin sees you as nothing but a pawn and wants to take your spot anyway.
That would be convincing enough.
Yeah, it's an entire thing where Gengyo takes every single piece of evidence he possibly can and pins every single bad thing he possibly can on Erwin.
Well, it's
charming.
Not. It's all true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the point,
yep.
To the point of, like, and so how does Burns want to read? And so he says, and that is why I hate that man. That is why you should hate that man. And that is why your Irish council house upbringing does not have to hold you back. That's why you don't need to worry about those nightmares. That's just a matter of perspective anyway. And that is why, what was the other thing? Oh yeah. And that is why your vengeance, that's why the vengeance you want to take against the mundane, normal people is irrelevant.
Well, the thing is that those names on my list, right? Because you see, I keep a little list up in my noggin. They're not normal people. They're almost always high rollers, people who get put on the game and try to take me down just because I have a little bit of a different viewpoint to them. You see, it's nothing to do with the way that I act to them. It's nothing to do with, you know, the way that. Or maybe it is. Maybe I'll just say something that's a little bit out of their range of thinking.
Out of character, you're so fucking lucky that you're completely immune to non-magical lie detection.
Well, that's not a lie. That's true.
It's absolutely a lie. I was there for all of that.
Yeah, but fucking, you think Diane is not a high roller? You think Jim Sutherland is not a high roller?
No, the whole through no fault of my own. I didn't do anything wrong. They just don't like it.
Hey, but he's not lying if he believes it to be true.
He believes that he's not lying.
That's still a lie by omission. But yeah, whatever.
Also, Dan, can I remove? I guess I've got to remove ally success if I get rid of the flaw. Correct?
Yeah, they'll stop helping you when you're clearly bailing.
Yep.
Yeah, you're off the res.
Damn right.
But it's okay. The MSS is about to experience a very significant set of problems.
Yeah, in the form of Garrett Mason.
In the form of Garrett Mason and a high roller group.
Oh Lord. Battlefield Shenzhen.
You think he's not going to subcontract that shit?
Battlefield Shenzhen. Let's get it.
Well, right. I want to go back to Shenzhen first and wrap.
Yeah. I want Pete to go back to Shenzhen as well. I want him on that.
He's not going to Shenzhen necessarily. He's going to wherever the construct is that holds all the data.
Mm.
But yeah, so yeah, Gengyo launches into that whole fucking thing, and he says, "So, you understand now?"
Oi, you make a good pitch. See, he's a scumbag cunt who just wants my spot to be more of a scumbag cunt than me. And I have nothing. Even if he offers me something, he's just using me as a pawn.
He's going to he wants to destroy the world, Burns. He wants to destroy everything, meaning that you won't have anything to rule over. If one day you become strong, you won't have anything to rule over, right?
Well, the problem is sometimes you need destruction to be able to get what you want in a certain situation. It can be leveraged. For example, I blow a place off the map, I occupy it, I fortify it, and suddenly I have that place. You need that initial destruction to be able to make all of that set of events happen. So, part of what Erwin wants is useful to me, and so I meet him on a level. He will try to use me as a pawn, but I will try to use him as a pawn.
I'm rolling manipulation, GM.
All right.
Now, what Gengyo is going to say is, no, you don't understand, Burns. I understand initial destruction, right? I've broken a man's ribs to get him out of the way of something I needed, right? I've thrown people off cliffs to get them out of the way of something I needed, right? That's different, right? What I'm talking about is, right, what Erwin wants. What I saw there in the heart of Malphaeus, right? What I saw was total destruction of everything. Everything. Not just the people holding the position you want, but the people you're holding the position with, and the position itself, and you, and me, and the Vatican, and everything.
That can be used. That inspires fear in so many people. That's the problem here. It inspires fear in them, and so you can use it as a weapon against them. Even the concept of a place like that being released or having them be put inside of it can be used as a weapon, you see.
He says, yes, I understand that, but what happens when he tries to put you in it?
Well, then he plays into my game because I expect it, and I accommodate for the fact that he's going to try and do that to me as well, because that's what he wants, and I make sure he can't do it.
Okay, so I got 10 successes on my mythic manipulation. I need to mark up my willpower for that. Hang on. Okay. Let me see. Burns, go ahead and remove up to 10 points of flaws that are not hatred Erwin. and let me know how many you have. Let me know if you have any left after those. After that.
I like these flaws. I've become quite accustomed to having these flaws on my sheet. I like having hatred women, hatred Judaism, and sadist. It's in character.
Well, they're not there anymore.
Right.
They're gone.
What about enemy flaws?
I can't get rid of enemy flaws.
All right, the Mossad still hate me. The Silent Striders still hate me. The NWO still hate me.
No, it's 10 points of psychological flaws. That's it.
Right. So I essentially just get rid of all of my. Well, I have hatred Irwin as well.
No, that one you're not touching.
Right. So how's he turning that conversation with Irwin into making me not hate women?
Jews.
And Jews.
I'm getting there. But first tell me how many points I have left so I know what else I'm putting in there.
Well, I have a hatred 3, sadist, which I have no idea what it is. I assume it's fucking 1 or 2. And those are the only other ones that you're able to touch. I have nothing on there that can be taken off. I have 2 points of taint. Like, you can't get rid of that.
Hang on. Right here, what I have here is that it's a 2-point flaw.
No, that's not 3 hatreds. I only have hatred women, hatred Judaism, and sadist.
No, the sadism is what I'm reading it as a 2-point flaw from this source. Can anybody back me up on that?
I'd lean on 2. I'd say 2 is fine.
Yeah.
But
how the
that's
fuck?
Just me.
Did you pick that up on a game or something?
Jeff gave it to me when me and Vito did some fucked up shit in Darkblood's castle and we tortured niggas.
Okay.
The aforementioned pet thin blood.
And what ranking is the prey exclusion flaw?
I believe that's 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 per prey.
How fucking convenient.
I don't know. So I'm not allowed to make a against it, even if it would if I would have justification for resisting it. He is able to convince me otherwise.
If you have iron will, you totally can.
He does.
I actually came into this with the assumption that Jaded worked against this, and so it was going to be wearing down your willpower. But yeah, your willpower rating determines difficulty. The problem there is that I have -6 fucking difficulty.
This is why you hide and you don't talk to high rollers for more than a few words.
I have -6 difficulty, and so by the way, every time Gengo really lights into a rant, that fucking angelic aura comes back. And you feel
you watch me still give Samurai sexual dysfunction and erectile dysfunction, Jeff. I'll own you.
Yeah. So that's hatred, and then hatred, and then sadism, and then the 1 point. So that's 4 willpower I have to spend.
Yes.
Lovely.
Right.
Hey GM, I get a willpower back for Crackerjack, don't I? For absolutely overwhelming numbers of successes.
So sadist is gone.
Do what now?
Does that require witnesses?
Well, we have witnesses.
He's turning my boy into a little wet wipe.
Let it happen. Allow it.
Lovely. So yeah, let's see. So you get rid of all of that shit, but you're left with hatred Irwin. What's a good prey exclusion? Let me think of one. How to frame it? Because this is the real deal, right? How to frame it?
Blacks.
Everyone who isn't Jewish.
High rollers.
No, I'm not.
Give me prey exclusion high rollers, you fucking break my entire character.
Yeah, I'm not giving you prey exclusion high rollers. I've got a way better idea.
You've already fucking turned me into a little wet wipe. That's right to the bone.
You say, this is why Conrad keeps it totally formal, like a job interview that doesn't last more than a sentence.
Whatever. Conrad and Gengyo have hung out. Get the fuck out of here. Okay, so basically he's gonna be like, what? How did we start that again? Remind me where the conversation was going. Oh yeah, destruction.
So we were talking about Irwin, and somehow you've made me not hate women, not hate Jews, and stop wanting to torture people.
Yeah. How would I put that?
I think it's him saying that he did express that, like, all of the wrath you wish to bring about on, like, mundane people, you want to bring on Irwin and things like him.
No. Okay, so actually, this is how Gengyo's gonna say it. He's gonna say, "Listen, I understand you want power, right? I understand you want strength, right? I understand that you think destruction may be necessary, but you got to see the truth. You have to see enlightenment, Prophet Burns, right? You have a gift. You have a gift. The gift to speak and be heard, as you said yourself. You don't need guns. You don't need bombs. You don't need missiles, right? When you have your voice, your God-given voice, your God-given talents, and the angelic aura is coming back." And he says, "I think that's why we've crossed paths today. You say you think the Almighty is watching you. Well, I think that maybe we were put in each other's paths to teach each other a lesson." He says, "And I think the lesson you need to learn is one that I've given to many of my students, the students of my martial arts school, right? And you do want to learn how to fight, right? Well, I'm going to teach you, but you must learn one of the first lessons of my school. And that is that mercy is strength." And he's going to wait for you to respond to that, because that seems like a paradox, right?
Well, mercy is strength. I'm also going to preface this by saying, for somebody who has the ability to mythic manipulate, Burns would have the notion that other people are capable of such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Possibly.
All right. That's fine. That's all I needed.
With psychology to realize it's happening.
I might roll that at this stage.
I'll say difficulty 6 because it's pretty fucking obvious when someone like deletes 20 points of flaws.
Suddenly, I don't hate. We've been talking for an hour. I don't hate women, Jews. I hate Irwin with a passion. I don't want to torture people. I've just almost totally forgotten about my upbringing. The thought of snake Jews is just nothing to me, and the MSS feels like a dream. So I get 2 6s.
Do you feel like this guy talking
you
to
also
this guy?
your prey exclusion. Your prey exclusion. Help me word this, GM. But your prey exclusion is basically going to be innocent people, right? People who have not harmed you or harmed others in any way that you know about.
Just like the innocent.
Yeah, just the innocent. I don't know if that's too broad for a.
Nobody is innocent. Depending upon your viewpoint, nobody is innocent.
No, but that's why I specified people who have not tried to harm you or harm people that you're aware of.
All right.
Sweet, I can still kill Diane.
Sure. Diane is so far from the topic. Diane is so far from what's important right now.
Well, Burns, you know that talking to this guy, working so well, he makes too much fucking sense. That it's like...
Well, you are the Pope, and you did literally see me turn into an angel.
Yeah. And he's probably doing something to you.
Right. So you're talking all of these nice things. You're talking to me as if I'm one of your students. And it all sounds so fabulous. It all sounds good. And you make an excellent point. I don't like the sound of that Irwin cunt. And to be honest, I'm feeling a lot better after this conversation. I'm feeling like a much lighter man. But that's never happened to me before. Nobody talks to me and makes me feel like that. Suddenly, I feel like a great weight has lifted off my shoulders and I want to thank you. But at the same time, I don't. Because I've got the funky fresh feeling inside of my toes that you know how to deal with people in the exact same way that I do. You know how to coerce others to believe what you do.
Gengyo shrugs and says, "But we haven't even been talking about what I believe."
Well, actually, I think we fucking have. And as it happens, I think that we need to change the subject slightly because I am not your fucking student. I will not learn at your school. We are equals here, and we will talk as equals. You will not put your hand on my shoulder again. I
This is
will
fine.
listen to you.
Fine,
But you
but
must listen to me.
I thought you wanted me to teach you, right? That's what you called me for. You wanted to learn how to fight, and you wanted to have your mind cleared of your afflictions. Is that not correct? And I think I'm upholding my end of the bargain.
Right. Well, in a way, you're like a genie from one of those fucking old stories, right? You come with what I wish for, but you're tricksy, aren't you? You come with your version of it, what you think is right, and you would bend my will to see your viewpoint rather than leave me free on my own to come up with my own viewpoint. You want to bend me to your will.
Gengyo smiles. He just says, please explain to me in concrete terms how I have in any way told you something other than the truth.
Well, you've told me your version of the truth, because the truth in itself is what you believe to be correct. You've spoken truths about your opinions, so do not call them truths. You have told me your opinions upon Erwin. You have told me your opinions upon the innocent.
He walks away from you slightly, and he turns around and starts walking around looking at all your goons, and he says, no, well, he says, okay, fine, I accept that, and I understand your paranoia. So tell me instead how your version of the truth differs from mine. Where's the disconnect?
The point is, you're talking about hypothetical things, theoretical things that you think. You don't know for a fact that people are this way. And in my view, everybody is not innocent.
Well,
there are people.
I specified what I mean by innocent, right? Those who haven't tried to harm you, right?
And you think they're all innocent. You think they wouldn't try to harm me if they were to know that I existed. If they were to know my nature, you think they couldn't be turned. So just because they haven't turned yet, you think they've done nothing wrong. You think that they wouldn't do no wrong, and you think that they've done no wrong to anybody else.
Gengyo smiles and he says, I don't think that they could do wrong to you, given your proclivity to talk people into doing what you want.
Well, you're able to do the same to me, and I'm able to talk back, which doesn't stop them talking back to me, does it?
He says, I don't know what you're talking about. You seem to be insinuating that I'm mind controlling you in some way.
Because I believe that's exactly what you're doing, because I can do exactly the same thing. You see, if I wanted to tell you that all that about cocaine and women, it's a deadly sin, you see, because I am connected to divine power. Whether I masquerade as something else, whether I come across as a character to you, I am directly connected to divine power. And if I were to say, for example, that kind of thing is only going to lead you further down the path into entropy, down to hell, and that it was bad, and you should never use your cock for anything, would you believe me?
I would like to roll mythic manipulation.
Ooh. So I have 9 willpower and iron will.
Shit. I'm going to need a lot of successes, boys.
And a willpower.
Oh, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Additionally,
7.
This man and 2 suited men are standing among the, what are they? Are they your insurgents? Are they your insurgents, or are they the Swiss Guard?
Hey? Oh, no, they're the Swiss Guard, bro.
Okay, well, this man and 2 suited men are standing among them, watching this play out.
With Theodore's cousin.
Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need how many, mate? I need.
Well, you would need 2 for it to count as a success.
I got 2 10s. So I got, but I got a 1, so I didn't get enough. I only got 1 success on that, which doesn't count.
GM willpower back. Oh wait, no, I changed my nature from competitor. Never mind.
So I am not
Yeah,
able
no.
to convince him that using his penis is bad and give him the derangement sexual dysfunction.
It's fine. Gengyo just waves a hand and
Bounces.
says, Genghis just waves a hand and says, honestly, I don't remember the last time I did drugs or had sex with a woman. I'm a monk after all. Mostly.
Yes, and I'm the Pope.
Well, but you are the Pope.
He gives you a little gun finger.
Right. I don't know what you want from me, but something tells me that you didn't come here for no reason and for nothing, just to teach me something.
Well,
What is it that you want?
I did ask if you could teach me something in return.
And what exactly would you want to learn from the Pope, who is oh so sinful and oh so hateful of the innocent?
I didn't say you were sinful or hateful of the innocent. I was responding to what you told me. I wasn't making a moral judgment on you, Your Holiness. I think you're being a little bit defensive.
You
It's
don't
okay.
think I'm being defensive for no reason? Because you walk inside of my house and you start telling me all of these things that you think are right and bending me over to you. Well, that's exactly the reason that I try and it's something about the high rollers, you see.
Mythic manipulation roll incoming.
It's something about the high rollers and the way that they work. They all think that they are right, and they all think that their way is the best way. And they are all the main character of the story. There is nobody else outside of their little realm. They're all playing their own little game, and you're a part of it. They're the main character. And in this, you are the main character. You want something. You want this enlightenment thing, and you think that by bending people to your will and feeding your own ego, that you're going to achieve it. And so you want to bend me to your will, because I'm just another piece of your game. I'm just a piece of the background. That's what I don't fucking like.
Gengyo
That's
nods.
why I don't trust you.
He nods and he like holds his hand up and does the tilt thing and he says, you're half right. AGM, requesting a willpower back for Cracker Jack for getting enormous successes on the mythic manipulation roll for what I'm about to do.
Sure.
Fucking A. All right. He says, you're half right, Burns. You're half right. And you didn't let me finish explaining why I said mercy is strength. So, but what you just said ties into that. Where you're wrong, he tilts his head. He says, where you're wrong, I'm not the main character of a story. Because this isn't a story, Burns. This is real life. This is the world we live in. So no, I'm not the main character. I'm a character. He says, but you are right in that high rollers all do think that they're the protagonist of their own story. And he says, and he like directly points to you. He says, you are the main character of your story. And he says, and I'm doing what I do with all high rollers that I teach. Because yes, I do have an ulterior motive in teaching. And I'll tell you what that is. I want to make each high roller the best version of themselves. I want to make all of you stronger and smarter and more powerful and less imperiled, right? Because you were speaking of all that power earlier, right? Well, yeah, power is the goal. Power is enlightenment, and enlightenment is power. He says, so I'm not trying to rewrite your mind or anything. I'm doing what you asked me to do. I'm giving you the shift of perspective you need to be the strongest.
In your opinion, the shift of perspective to something which you view as right, and you are another person living in your own story, and what you are doing here as the main character of your own story is extending your story outside of yourself to me, to my own story, and putting me as a part of yours. So you make me a piece of the background instead of allowing me to live my own life, make my own mistakes, and build myself up to be the best that I can be. By making my own mistakes and learning from them, you include me in your story and try to make me do things your way.
I'm sorry. Who called who?
I called you because I wanted you to help me with a problem that I had with the Chinese. I
And
bit off more than I could chew, clearly.
have I not done that? Right, and now we're just having
Absolutely, you've done that. Absolutely, but you've opened a fucking can of worms, is what you've done.
Well, that's the thing, right? We're friends. We're talking like equals. I'm not demanding anything of you, am I? I'm not forcing you to do anything. Would you like me to just turn you back to the way you were before and then leave?
See, the way you say that, now I know that you've done something. Now I know that you have been influencing me towards your own will. I know
He
it
shrugs.
because of your wording, you see. You slip up. Despite being the sensei that you are, the enlightened being that you are, you can't even avoid small missteps like that.
If you didn't think I could do it, would you have asked me to do it?
Well, I got the recommendation from Garrett, and I have enough trust with Garrett at this stage to be able to believe he knows people who can do it, and it seems like you probably have. And so, that is all I will require from you, Mr. Zayasu.
So you don't want to learn how to fight.
Not from you.
How unfortunate. You won't find a
As
better
it happens, yes, as it happens, life itself has been my instructor always. And life itself allows me to make my own mistakes and learn from them, and doesn't try to bend me to its own will.
and
It allows me to unfold myself to my maximum potential.
life is always trying to bend you to its will, Prophet Burns. And that's what I'm trying to help you avoid that. And also, yes, making your own mistakes, blah blah blah, all well and good. But didn't you tell me you got beat up by a Chinese security guard?
I get beat up by a lot of people.
Well, would you like that to
all
stop?
the time.
Let me just finish what I'm saying here. He says it's very simple. Fine, you don't want to learn how to fist fight. Okay, you want to make your own mistakes. Okay. So here's my advice to you then. This is what I've learned. This is why I'm not imperiled in every game. And this is why I'm not riddled with flaws and calling random men from across the world, asking them to take time out of their schedules to come teach me, and then berating them for doing exactly what I asked. He says, it's because I understand this. Power is enlightenment. Enlightenment is power. Mercy is power. Because you destroy a foe you're afraid of. You spare a foe you know that you can manage. See the point there? And you, Your Holiness, can manage a whole lot more than you think. Your perspective limits you. You don't have to be so forceful all the time. You just don't. You could get so much more than you think you can.
Yes. Open my legs and my big white cunt so you can just fucking lay your seed inside of there and leave me with your own fucking views and opinions. Lie on my back and let everybody else walk over me like I always have done for my whole fucking life. Even now, letting other people who are stronger than me walk around and do what they want. No, not anymore.
No, not anymore. He says, no, not anymore. Definitely not. Definitely not. I'm definitely going to make sure that you don't have to worry about that anymore. He says, basically, it's like this, right? You're very close. You're very close to understanding the lesson that I'm trying to teach here. You're very close to not only being free of your brainwashing by the MSSB, but also being free from being brainwashed by anyone ever again. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're just being resistant to the lesson, right? It's very simple, right? So if mercy, walk with me here. Walk with me mentally. Try to understand this leap of logic, right? If mercy is power, what does that mean, right? If you spare someone, right? What does it mean about them as your enemy? It means you're not afraid of them, doesn't it? You wouldn't spare someone if you were afraid of them, would you?
Unless you had something to gain from them.
Right. But what I'm saying is, let's assume you have nothing to gain from them. What
But
reason
you have
do you
something
have?
to gain from everyone. Everyone can be used. Everyone.
Yes, and so why destroy someone that you can use?
I see you.
Yes, now you see me. Now you're starting to understand.
So, you think that I use the masses, like I have been intending to do this whole time, to manipulate them to my own uses, because they are nothing more than pawns on the board. Of course. But, why spare them all? Why spare the ones who have wronged me? Why? Because
Well,
they can be used?
I'm not saying you spare the ones who've wronged you. You're deliberately saying something that I said the opposite of earlier. I did say specifically the ones who have not attempted to harm you and are not attempting to do so, right? Defending. I mean, at no point have I said you shouldn't defend yourself. But good God, man. Oops. He says, "Good God, man." Oops, and he looks at the Swiss guard. Should I not say that here?
Well, it's a word that I allow within my men are of the same mind as me. They won't say anything about it. But he calls over to his men. If he lays a hand on my shoulder again, shoot him where he stands. All of you.
You already asked me not to do that, and I'm going to respect your wishes. He says, so, right? What my point here is that you're thinking kind of small, right? Overall, you're thinking kind of small. And I know that sounds strange, given that you're talking about total world domination. But think about it. Think about it, Prophet. What's real power? What is real power, right? We talked about how mercy is strength, but what's real power, right?
Control.
And what is the surest way to gain control of something?
To dominate its will entirely.
That can be resisted, can't it?
Well, clearly not even by someone as powerful as myself, because a beggar fish comes along and says, no, this way is right. My name is Gengyo. My way is right. Your way is wrong, Burns.
He waves a hand and says, You seem very upset. Are you sure that you don't have something else you want me to fix for you?
Don't fucking patronize me, boy. Do not fucking patronize me. You have no idea who the fuck I even am. I brought you here for a job, and we're having a chat. So don't talk down to me. Talk to me as an equal.
Well, then talk to me as an equal, Burns, and stop accusing me of attacking you.
Well, stop hiding behind this little facade that you didn't try to convert me to whatever it is your thought pattern says is right. Stop trying that. We're talking. Don't try to convince me of things.
I'm not trying to convert you. You're already there, honestly. You were there before I got here, right? I'm helping you refine your approach, right? I'm giving you strategic advice as a friend.
And are you a pope?
No.
And are you a war commander?
I can be.
But you're not.
Yeah, because I don't need an army, to be honest.
Well, who are you to give me strategic advice then?
He says, I'm a monk. And there's a very long tradition in my homeland of monks giving tactical, strategic, and moral advice to other leaders. And also in your homeland, actually, it's kind of a common thing around the world, now that I think about it.
Monk. You don't happen to know the Dalai Lama, do you?
No, but I can.
Well, I've met the guy.
Yeah, he's
had
a hack.
good long chat with him.
He is kind of an idiot hack.
He's a hack.
In my opinion, yes.
Well, I mean, if you think that, I was looking for somebody to do something for me.
What's that?
I need somebody to go as an emissary to a meeting that I had planned, and something tells me that I'm not the right man for the job, because I am not of a reasonably sane mind to be able to be a politician in the eyes of many others. I am not so easily talked down to, as you've seen.
Gengyo grins wide and says, "Are you sure about that? I think you have it in. I think you can do it. I think you've got it in you."
Well, I was concerned about facing the chief rabbi, but maybe you're right. Maybe that will be okay now. It's
See?
the Dalai Lama that I'm concerned about.
Why is that? What concerns you about that skinny old faggot?
He takes a long look at Gengyo and then shakes his head. Never you mind. We'll talk about that some other time, maybe. If. Big if. And when. More to the point. We are going off on a tangent here. You came to talk about the MSSB, you came to talk about the Chinese, and you came to talk about your way of living and thinking and your road to enlightenment. I have heard it all, and I have listened to it all, and I agree with some of your points, but others I do not.
Well, you've interrupted quite a bit. I'm not even half done.
Oh, forgive me. I shut my legs even slightly and tried to not let you just fill me with your seed. Oh no, I talked back to you, even once. Go, continue.
There's a difference between interrupting and responding. You know what? First of all, I'm gonna have I'll tell you what. Tempers are running high right now, right? I'm gonna walk over there, and he points to the other side of the room. I'm gonna have a cigarette, right? And you can, you do whatever. Why don't we meet back up in about half an hour, and we continue with cooler heads.
I'm just fine now. I think I'm extremely cool just now.
All right. Well, I want to tally up these 12 points I got on this mythic manipulation roll a minute ago, because I said incoming and I rolled it, and then we kept talking. But 3 points. Hatred for Morai. You can go ahead and take that.
Burns declare war on where DuPont dumped all their chemicals in the first place.
And he said, Gengyo spins, and he says, "You know what, Prophet Burns? I actually do know what I want from you now."
I'm listening.
There's a corporation. Fucking sucks a huge drag of the cigarette, puts it out of his hand, and stuffs the butt in his pocket. There's a corporation out there called Magadon Pharmaceuticals. Now, I don't know much about them. I don't know a ton about them, but what I do know is that they issue poison medicine to a large portion of the world. And I know that not because of my own knowledge, but because a friend of mine, a reporter, was doing work uncovering their corruption, right? And they murdered her. She was a friend of mine, and they assassinated her. And so you know what I'd like? I'd like your help in destroying their poisonous influence. I'd like your help in clipping their wings a little bit. And you know what? Actually, Bishop, don't take hatred for Morai. Take hatred Magadon.
I was going to say, I will drag that to the most retarded extreme.
Yeah. Don't take hatred for Morai, because Gengyo doesn't know enough about them to really adequately do it, and I didn't say anything about them, but Magadon is absolutely where I want you pointed.
So he's going to tell me that, and I'm going to say, well, sir, where would I likely find said Magadon?
Gengyo grins, and he says, "Oh, everywhere. Everywhere in the world. I've got quite a file built up on them at home. I can send you some paperwork."
Splendid. Well,
yes.
If you were to send that through, let me say now, why would I ever do something for you if you were not doing something for me in return? Sure, you've done me this favor, but we talk as equals. And
well,
so
I thought that you would help me in exchange for martial arts instruction. But since that's off the table, he says,
we have bigger fish to fry, Mr. Zlatu, than teaching me to punch better.
First things first, I want to say that I think you should help me with this because it's in your interest to destroy them. Because my research and my colleagues' research and what my comrades in the finance industry have told me, you want power, you want control, you want the worship of the flock, right? Those are things that matter to you. We have reason to believe, very compelling evidence, that Magadon, in fact, bends the wills of those who take its supplements and bends them toward rebellion and destruction and evil.
So I take the head seat of Magadon and I turn it to myself, and I continue to poison the masses and do exactly what they do, only I am in control. I see you, sir.
Perhaps. But what worth is worship if it's compelled? Right? You could earn that worship without having to give them poison that does it for you. You can earn it on your own merit. And you have earned it on your own merit. I mean, I respect you.
But you are not the masses. You are not those who have very tight-cut little sections of reality that are their own. They have their nice little house, their nice little garden, and anything that even slightly offends them will breach inside of their little biosphere and hurt them. If I came at them with my views.
So I had 12 points, right? I said I had 12 successes earlier. The first 3 was hatred Magadon. The next 3 is driving goal, or not driving goal, higher purpose. Protect Christendom.
I don't even know what the fuck that is, and you haven't explained it.
Protect the Catholic faith, basically. Protect Catholics. Be a good shepherd to your flock.
I just want to shoot myself in the face.
Why? This is wonderful. You're going to be the best pope the world has ever seen.
I don't want to be the best fucking pope.
You're gonna have to find
Higher
another way to vent
purpose.
your anger.
Defend Catholic faith.
No. Not the Catholic faith, but Catholics.
Defend Catholics.
Yes, the people. Defend your flock is probably an easier way to digest it.
Defend them. Defend them.
And Genghio says, and you know what? I actually would wager that Magadon and other organizations like it. You said you grew up in a council house. You said it was miserable. You had a miserable upbringing. He says, well, I hazard to think that there's a good chance that companies and groups and people like that were involved in why your upbringing was so miserable. And think about how much more powerful you would be if you were the one responsible for lifting everybody else who had to suffer that out of those conditions.
Oh, the savior and the truly righteous pope I would be in their eyes.
You take a driving goal, clean up the foster care system. That basically all the ones you have access to is the Pope.
Driving goal.
Just put improve. Yeah, help the orphans. That's great. I like that. That's wholesome.
Think about the orphans.
Gotta think about the orphans.
Hey, guess what? Now you'll be the other high roller that runs an orphanage. We can be orphanage buddies.
I will fucking nuke that fucking orphanage as soon as you give me a goddamn chance.
Well, actually, funny you mentioned that. Because I have been talking all this good shit about, maintaining the worship of your flock and protecting your flock, so now we get the final, the cherry on top. You get driving goal. Pursue, obviously with the aid of other world leaders and the aid of, other people of faith and, all your political connections and blah, 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 blah. Pursue peace agreements worldwide, driving goal, or compulsion. They're the same rating, however you want to put it.
Fuck you. Out of character.
Hey, GM. GM, can I get willpower back for massive successes on that roll too?
Sure. Fuck it.
Fucking A.
Pursue peace.
And then while Burns is still pondering all of the brilliance and eloquence of my arguments, I'm going to do the final mythic manipulation roll.
Well, let's not do willpower this time because it's happening a lot in a short amount of time. But you're just like, you're fucking the shit out of them.
Okay. That's fair. I spend that willpower, make that permanent. And then, okay, so let's count these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. I get 10.
The thing is, he was doing this, and I successfully rolled to be able to know that he was doing it. I am still aware of the fact that he is doing this.
It's true.
You're aware, but you keep talking to him. It might not dawn on you that not talking to him is the solution, but it's already happened.
And Gengyo says, and furthermore, right? Furthermore, I'm insulted. I'm insulted that you would think that I'm trying to mind control you or do something. I'm your friend, Burns. I'm your friend. Prey exclusion, Gengyo.
Oh, fuck you, dude. Fuck this fucking conversation. Oh my god.
Secondly, I also am angry at the insinuation that you think I didn't actually help you, right? I think you're in a much better position than you've ever been in your entire life to deal with these problems. I think that you, as the Pope, are uniquely positioned in the world to help people. And you can gain more power by helping people than you can by dominating them.
Stop talking. Stop
I'm not done yet.
fucking talking to me.
Because I still have 9 more points to assign.
Not if I stop him.
It's too late. I've already made the roll. Next is going to be, what's the phobia? What's phobia?
I don't know.
What's the rating on it? 2 or 4? What if it's a really specific phobia? But can I take it at 4 if I want it to be really specific but really intense?
Yeah.
4-point phobia. Oh yeah, okay. 2 points phobia, going back to the way you were. Two points phobia, going back to the way you were.
Oof.
1 point prey exclusion yourself. What's a good 1-pointer I can give him? What's a good
Prey
1-point merit I can give him?
himself, so he can't kill himself.
Yes, prey exclusion himself. And what's a good 1-point merit? What's a good 1-point merit?
Oh yeah.
What's aptitude? Is an aptitude?
Oh yeah, aptitude. What aptitude should I give him?
Perception.
Persuasion? Does he have
Yes,
persuasion?
because I have opened your eyes. Get alertness aptitude.
Alertness aptitude. Oh boy.
And then you also get, for the last 5 points. Do I want to do it now? Do I want to drop the hammer now?
Now. I just want to know what the hammer is.
No, I can't drop it yet. I'm going to save those 5 points.
Have we got a kung fu fight in post?
You save them, accept me to stop you.
Hang on.
Expect it.
Once you say that you're finished, Burns may then say, "Stop talking to me."
I mean, he can. Huh.
I mechanically can't have my men shoot him. I can't have my men shoot myself.
I think technically you can have your men shoot me because prey exclusion just means you can't kill me.
But that would include the intent to kill you.
I don't think prey exclusion means you can't have the intent to kill.
I would actually argue against that. I would say that if it's prey exclusion, like I would be telling my men to fucking murder you, and that would be me hunting you just using my own means of attack.
It
I
depends,
would
like-
say that doesn't fly.
The reaction you had initially, where you're just like yelling, "Stop talking to me," you're walking away.
As much as I'd love to have my men shoot you, I don't think mechanic life is good.
What's amnesia? What's the amnesia flaw?
Oh god, let me pull up.
That's 3, right?
You.
It's 2?
2.
Okay, then I'm saving the 2. You get Iron Will. You get the Iron Will merit. And he says, since I've opened your eyes and you're seeing things so much clearer now, bam, Iron Will. You probably don't have to worry about anybody doing this to you ever again. You probably don't have to worry about anybody controlling your mind or turning you from your path. And he says, now, as far as me being the master of this story, as far as me being the main character of this story, whatever, right? He says, I don't even care if you remember I exist. Amnesia.
Okay.
And he walks out.
Well,
And I am out of willpower.
so, okay, so he got fucked with a few flaws, so I guess he is gonna walk out.
Yeah, Gengyo's gonna pace out, and you don't actually you feel the memory of why he even came here to begin with fading. And he waves and says, "Good day to you, sir."
I can't even argue with it, and I can't even do anything about it.
After he leaves Burns, the man that I posted, like the general outfit, him and the Swiss Guard, like some guys in suits are gonna walk up to you. And they're going to, I don't know how long we should do this. They're gonna ask, so who was our guest?
Our guest was Mr. Gengyo Zayasu. I invited him here to, fuck. I don't even remember. What was I doing? I think I was going to go see Martha down the road for a shag. Who are you?
Before you do that, would you mind us checking you real quick? No, we have a few suspicions.
The amnesia, by the way, only applies to Gengyo. I want it narrowed down to just him remembering who Gengyo is.
Guards, who are these men? State your intentions, sirs.
What are you referring to?
No, you don't forget. You don't forget who your boys are. The amnesia.
I don't even know. I don't even know who the fuck this bald nigger is.
No,
well, this man you will recognize.
That's your fucking boy.
He's the head of the intelligence agency of the Vatican.
Oh. Oh, I see. So I will know exactly who he is.
Yes.
Right. What is it? What's wrong? No, I should not know my foot. You think I studied the fucking wiki for the fucking Pope? No, sir. No, sir.
We just...
Continue.
You've been walking around and talking with your guest about very peculiar things for the last half hour. We believe that something may have happened to you in that span of time. You would prepare to allow us to inspect you.
What kind of an inspection? What do you think happened to me? Nobody gets inside my head inside these walls.
You said something about mind control. You said something about him controlling you.
Who?
The man you were communicating with, did you tell them about that he was coming? Did you tell no one that a blimp is about to enter the airspace?
Oh no, I would have told them. Absolutely, they'd know that he was coming.
I mean, he gathered the boys. He gathered the boys, and they walked with us downstairs. They fucking knew at some point.
Yeah, no, they were doing a few things, but it's just, well, your guest Gengyo, you had him come and visit, and you talked a bit, and I've heard some strange reports that came from the inner sanctum. There was
What kind of reports? I don't know who you're talking about, but
well,
if somebody was here,
Well, if you mind, could we go further into the sanctum to discuss this? This may not be a safe place.
boy. All right, I can see you're stressed about something. Franz, let's fucking go. Let's go. So we're gonna retreat down to the inner sanctum.
You're gonna go. You're gonna go into like some fucking secret spiral stairway into like below the Vatican to talk, and then he's going to basically recount most of the entire scene. And,
So my amnesia about Gengyo, is that able to be removed now? If there are men telling me that this conversation happened, that because it did.
I would say yes, but no, actually, no, fuck it. I said going back to the way you were is the phobia, so no, fuck that. It triggers your phobia.
Triggers your phobia, okay. So when they are recounting the entire, most of the scene to Burns, his phobia acts up.
No, only if they try to undo it. They can tell him about it all day long. They just can't cure it.
Can't cure it. Okay, so he doesn't remember it, but he knows that they...
Yeah, no, they can fucking
right, okay.
tell him. He just doesn't have a clear recollection of it.
Right. Makes sense to me. So they are going to...
And I mean, he can certainly remember them telling him, you know? Like, he's not going to forget that.
Right. So, yeah, they take... You're down in like a basement room and they're fucking recounting it at you, and they seem to be performing some rites at you, and like they're like swabbing you with a rag and like reciting verses. I'm not sure how to go at this paradigm. Maybe Christian knows.
Well, they saw me. They did see that I'm an angel, and I was preaching proper Catholic doctrine at them almost.
Right.
Well, I
was the angel that walks around shouting about evil devils, how they're evil, but then goes ahead and smokes cigarettes in the corner, and
hey, you know,
so you
spits a whole lot of highly unholy shit and talks about coming from hell.
Right. No, I said I went there. I said I visited. I was a tourist.
So when you transformed, you turned into a fucking angel.
Yep.
Glowing red eyes kind of angel, yes.
That's the apocalyptic form.
All right. Well, they're still going to be doing some... Burns, you don't know fuck about shit in character, so you don't know what they're doing. They're like just saying, they're just like babbling a bunch of shit, like swapping you and asking you questions. And then they're just gonna... And then they're gonna say, like, let us know if he comes back. I think we're going to pin someone on him to look into him. This is very strange.
He's not a hard man to find, so I will give you whatever the fuck you want on him, because it would not be difficult in the
right. Well,
slightest for Vatican intelligence to keep tabs on this motherfucker.
But who's in charge of Vatican intelligence?
That's a question, isn't it?
And if the Pope finds out that that's what they're doing, exactly, I mechanically can't. I would mechanically influence them to not follow that, to not chase up that lead.
Well, don't worry, they won't tell you about it.
Don't forget, by the way, don't forget to knock your morality up by however much your conviction is, because I removed twisted upbringing.
I don't know if that's the case. Like, I think you have to buy your way back up. Something. I don't know. Could be.
I don't know. I think it's thematic at least. But I mean, that might not be how it works yet.
I don't know. I could kind of see it either way. They went.
Well, I would like to see that, but I fully defer to anybody else's judgment.
Free shit.
Yeah. Enjoy your iron will, though. It's not going to happen again.
Well, at least it doesn't influence your personality anymore. You're like, I don't care that I got slapped around and locked in the basement.
I have no idea that I got slapped around the face in the basement.
You might know, but you don't. You're over it.
Well, yeah. How am I gonna have to do it again if you act up?
Right. So I'm just gonna say, yeah, they are. So they tell you we're gonna have someone look into this, and then how do you react?
Look into what?
We want to look into the man you visited because we have not heard of him until now, and you were acting very strange after meeting him.
Well, the point is, right? A, I don't even remember who you're talking about, but whoever the f he is, he's done me a great service. I feel so much like
Is
him.
that how
I feel so much
exclusion
better.
works? He doesn't
You're
know
pretty
who-
sure. You're pretty sure it was an angel.
I have pre-exclusion Gangyo driving goal pursue piece phobia of returning to before.
Right.
That cocktail stops me from A, chasing him down, B, I have amnesia. I can't even remember who the fuck he is. And whoever he is, this strange force that was there, something happened, I had my mind changed, but I'm terrified of going back to how I was before. So
Right.
I can't.
Okay, well, I'll accept that you say all that, but they're just gonna like shift their eyes at each other, like him, the two suited guys, some guys in robes. They're all just gonna like look at each other, and they're like, "Yeah, we won't look into it. If you say he's fine, he's fine."
Boy, he's more than fine. Don't worry about him. I have bigger fish to fry. There's all sorts of things that I need to set straight here. I am, after all, the Pope. I have papally duties. Things that I have long put to the side must now be brought to the forefront. Many things that I have let rot, sit idle, must be set right, starting here in Rome and continuing on to the furthest reaches that my hands can perceive.
And well, because that's it for now. Yeah, and then they're gonna help you up and like do whatever. Everything goes back to normal, and as far as you know, they're not doing anything.
No.
You don't really know what this guy does, but you just believe him.
Now's a good time to remind you that Diane's a Catholic.
What happened here today, Dylan? You were in fact correct in saying that this was worse than killing Burns. It was infinitely worse than killing Burns because you essentially made Burns not fun to play to the point where I will not play him again.
Yes.
Because he is no longer the same character. He is a little faggot who nobody could possibly hate, and therefore will continue to play games being good until either somebody kills him on a game and he just dies, or he becomes more and more sterile and becomes like the rest of them.
He's
and
a
just
good
becomes a
pope
fucking
now.
he's a do-gooder. So fuck that.
He's a good pope now. He's the best pope.
Well, let him sit there. He can sit on the Pope's shoes.
You can still do this, and if you get fucked, now it's like just roll with the punches. Like you might get fucked with again because he's not the only one with mythic manipulation running around.
Well, you said it yourself. You said, "Bring it on, bring it on." I can't wait. If you kill Burns, I win. And so that was a challenge. You know.
So the bigger fish comes along. You get you engineer the 15 gift high roller in there, and which was fucking inevitable. Okay, you shat on him in a good way, but you shat on him in such a way that he just becomes not even a character that I want to play at all. He's just a fucking useless faggot now.
And now I want to claim.
That is a fate worse than death.
I wanted on the scoreboard that Gangyo currently holds the record for most characters inverted.
Inverted
when
to his big dick paradigm of being a little boy.
I think that means the Infernalists are beating the Nephandic, the Malthians for most characters inverted.
Yeah, I found that if you're just saying it out in the open, him referring to Erwin as the Antichrist was so ironic that it was baffling.
I know, it was great, wasn't it? It was so perfect.
How can I even be God Emperor when I can't take war anywhere
Like-
because I have to pursue peace and help the orphans?
Like, Erwin is the guy who's like, fuck it, I don't care anymore, I'm gonna
Hey,
kill
hey, hey,
everybody.
hey, hey. Look.
And then-
Is Gengyo a good little boy? Is Gengyo like a harmless faggot? Because Gengyo also pursues peace, and
He's
Gengyo
an
also
ego
runs,
monster is what
and
Gengyo is.
and he also runs orphanages.
Right. So let's see if we can work this in a different way. I have to pursue peace. In the pursuit of peace, one must make actions that would constitute a sin in the pursuit of greater peace. Now, I have to defend the Catholics. That's fine. So to defend the Catholics and pursue the peace, the overall peace of those people, I may have to do things against those who would threaten them.
Against aggressors, yeah. However, worth pointing out, preemptive strikes absolutely violate that mandate. Just saying.
Preemptive strikes against whom?
Against
Preemptive
anybody.
strikes against
against any innocents that you have not attacked you.
Oh yes, silly me, yes, because I have pre-exclusion the innocent as well.
But you know who isn't innocent, and you know who does threaten Catholics and peace around the world?
Gengyo.
Erwin, Magadon, vampires. Turn all that spite and hatred towards them, and you have a great time.
Does Burns know where Darkblood is? Because I read something about what Darkblood said. Do you know where he is?
I have no fucking idea where Darkblood is. If he was still sat around in Pete's realm, I'd have known that he would be in Pete's realm, but since hearing about what's just happened in there, I know he's not there anymore.
Yeah, so first of all, you're never going to find Erwin for a long time, but Darkblood is over there, whenever you want to go get him.
Darkblood is over where?
He's in the real world. He's in a static place.
So, I can't... But how do I justify going for somebody like that? How do I see them as a threat?
It's true, he doesn't attack Catholics.
He doesn't attack Catholics, he sits there putting butt plugs in his ass in Romania.
Speaking of Darkblood, because Burns didn't want the brawl study points, does Darkblood want some brawl study points? Oh, yeah, actually, Bishop, that's a good point. The Catholic Church is full of fucking vampires.
So I can't target vampires either.
Is that true? Are they in the Vatican?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, the leader of the Society of Leopold is a fucking vampire.
Is he a vampire or is he a ghoul?
If you're a vampire, you're not a Catholic. That's just saying. You don't have a soul.
All right. Well, we've been at this for a couple of hours, maybe more. I've got to fucking wrap this up. I think it's pretty much wrapped up anyway. Burns is no longer a playable character.
Yes, he is.
He's a
Stop
good guy.
being a pansy.
Hey, I'm not being a pansy. It's like when you play a character to the way that you want. You want to play a character a certain way, okay? A character in mind that you want to play, right? You get that character entirely inverted to the point where they are just a pawn in somebody else's game to do what somebody else thinks is right. And I don't want to fucking spend hours role-playing somebody who's just going to go ahead and try and defend the Catholics and talk about fucking orphans.
But you're not a pawn. You're not a pawn.
I am absolutely a pawn now.
Think of yourself as a cruise missile.
Gengyo wanted to go for Magadon. Gengyo wanted to go for Erwin, and so I am now a pawn aboard of a bigger player. A bigger fish has come along, as was inevitable, and claimed the smaller fish.
Think of yourself as a cruise missile that's been pointed in a slightly different direction.
But I can't fire the fucking cruise missiles that I have, so I am not a cruise missile, because I have to pursue the peace, and I cannot make war. I cannot use the 5 dots of arsenal and the military force that I have built on this character, because the character has been entirely inverted. So no.
I mean, you can use it, just not on innocent people. I don't see what the...
So I have to play games until I find somebody worth attacking, and then I fucking nuke them. Oh, okay, I found somebody who works with Erwin, I'm just gonna nuke Erwin and get myself killed. Oh, okay, I found somebody who works for Magadon. Let's go and bomb Magadon because Gengyo said it was a good idea. I can use my 5 dots of arsenal to bomb Magadon and get myself dethroned as Pope. He just doesn't. He has no character to build on anymore. He has no fucking story. Yes, he's the Pope. Someone needs to roll up and either fuck with him or kill him. Because I can't do it myself.
Well, if that's how you see it, then rip.
That is exactly how I see it.
There's a whole lot you could do about being the Pope. People play good high rollers all the time. People play good guy high rollers all the time.
Yes, and those people are wet wipes.
Well, seems like, I don't know.
I can't lead a crusade, Jeff. I can't do any of the things that character was going to do.
You can absolutely lead a crusade
ambitions anymore.
Against Magadon and vampires and Irwin and, you know, like jihadists, actually, completely legitimate. Like, you know, if you go, like start fucking up jihadists in the Middle East, that's totally in your rights.
So if Burns knows about Darkblood's castle, that means the Vatican knows, right? I'm thinking about what's going on with these guys.
Oh, Jeff. Bound Flaw, Gangyo. Because I have stuff coming that's going to take advantage of that. You're going to gain 9 Brawl study points. And I have 7. No, I have 7 points of merits to give you.
No, that's not how I'm operating. They know that the Pope is fucking incompetent and stupid. That doesn't mean they're going to be stupid.
Silence.
Hey, I mean, if you want to just go ahead and hand Gangyo enemy Italian state security and or Vatican state security, I'll take it.
Nah, we're not going that far. I'm just moving some pieces around in the background.
Enemy celestial chorus.
So would they go against the authority of the Pope if the Pope had said that he's nothing to worry about, if they could tell that the Pope was compromised and was essentially a fucking baby now?
They treat you like a big baby. They don't tell you anything.
They would fucking ignore you unless you put like manipulation or presence on them, but I don't think you would have.
And no. I'll just say that a few of them, that may be a little difficult.
That voice that I used to do on Burns when I was pretending to be nice, I now have to do that all the time. Hello, my name is Prophet Burns. I am here to help the orphans. I am here to help the Catholics. Please, take my money. I do not need it. I have a vast wealth, and I would love to donate it.
You blood-sucking cunts, go back to fucking Syria where you belong.
Well, I can't even... Now everybody who's doing that will be rolling at max difficulty to be able to change Burns back to how he was. And he will be able to resist because he has iron will, and because he doesn't want to go back to how he will in character have to spend willpower to be able to stop it. And
you can go crush the shit out of jihadis. You can go there's absolutely worth pointing out. There's absolutely nothing stopping you from going after the Chinese, actually. They're not Catholics.
In fact,
and they're not posing a threat to the Catholics at all.
Yes.
Have you looked into the history of China and the Christian Church?
You absolutely can go after China because they are oppressing China. They're oppressing Christians.
The Chinese posed no threat to the Catholics, and the entire chat went nick at once.
Yeah. China is.
Well, you know I live under a fucking rock. You think I know about history and or politics whatsoever?
It's like saying the Chinese pose no threat to the Tibetans.
Chris, get fucked. I will play whoever the fuck I like. Don't tell me to do it. Turn your mic on if you want to say that.
If you try to disrespect the setting in such a way that you play a total fucking retard in these positions, then no, you won't.
Now, Who exactly encouraged me to go for that in the first place? Where
I
exactly
didn't.
did I create Prophet Burns?
You created him from whatever inspired you to do that.
I created him in Purple's house with you.
Yeah, and I thought it was a neat character, but I didn't think that it should become anything in an actual state of power and influence over the setting.
False. I got 2 gifts that day. 2 gifts, right? First gift, True Faith, which doesn't fit the character at all. Second gift on that same day was a boost to 3 status and 2 fame as a position in the Vatican.
Right, and I said that if you got another gift, which isn't normally the case because no one ever does that because no one gives a shit about status or fame, that you could get to 5 and 5, but that absolutely is not the requirements to be the Pope, but somebody said that it was, erroneously. And I'm not going to take that back from you, but at this point, if you want to retire him, I would absolutely respect Pope Infernus the First.
He's not Pope Infernus the First anymore. I don't even know what he is. I've got to think about it. Like, I'm the only reason I'm pissed is because I'm tired and I can't fucking wrap my head around what he can be used for. So I've got to sit on it. I've got to think about whether he is usable for anything.
Well,
and
I'll
whether
tell
I
you
actually
this
want
much.
to play him as he is.
He could be useful in the distant future, so if you want to retire him, that's absolutely viable. There are things a-coming, storms a-brewing.
He'd be
And
more
if he doesn't go
useful
on
as a
games, he won't
narrative
die.
piece. As a narrative, I don't give a shit if he died. In all honesty, I'd rather he get shot and the Pope's shoes become available for somebody else to fuck with, to be totally honest.
The Pope shoes.
You know what happens when a Pope grows a conscience and gets a little bit too self-determined for the setting. He's forced to step down by the CIA. So, you could step down. You could announce your retirement.
But if I announce my retirement in character, then I cease having the power to be able to enact the things that I need to enact, like defend the Catholics, help the orphans, pursue peace. I lose that political power, which you wouldn't want to do in character. That's the issue there.
Unless you believe yourself to be capable of doing that without that position, because, frankly, that station has a lot of responsibilities that I'm sure you have not even read any amount of.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, maybe you should do that and see actually what it takes to be a pope instead of just calling it a title.
It was actually funny on one game. He didn't know what the word infallible meant. In referring to his status.
That's the point. I think it.
By the way, that cost me 8 XP. That whole thing cost me 8 XP.
Oh God, poor you, man. That whole thing cost.
Yeah.
God damn.
I was
you poor soul.
spamming the fuck out of my my apocalyptic
well
ability.
Done. I hope you had a good masturbation session, Dylan. I hope you had your hand on your cock that whole time.
You asked for it. You literally asked for it.
Before you depart, give me all the flaws to throw down here.
You literally asked for it, dude.
I got prey exclusion, the innocent.
Well, copy
hatred.
Paste them.
All right, I'll write them down in active game.
And whatever merits you got.
You got the merit version of the driving goal. Yeah. And Iron Will. I think that was it. But I wasn't paying 100% attention.
I mean, honestly, it's amazing the Pope got this far without dying.
It would have been better if he died.
I'll treat him like he died.
By now. Like, I imagine it kind of fucks shit up. Like, do you think does the Pope have true faith?
No, he can't. Because it got vetoed off his sheet on your game.
I mean, does the Pope, before he was killed and replaced, did he have true faith?
Depends on the game line and depends on people's opinions and all of that. Because
I don't know.
the thing about World of Darkness is that they avoid the upper end stuff, because for most chronicles and most stories, the upper end stuff is just completely not only out of reach, but also out of scope for what people are going to be doing. And for the most part, such obvious positions of power are generally avoided by most supernatural things. Everything will basically point to it either has a nice faith rating in the case of demon, maybe has true faith, maybe is awakened, maybe there's no distinction between those two, and maybe there's just a regular person who's doing the faith bit.
Because it seems kind of obvious that an entity like Burns is undermining the faith of the Vatican just by existing.
Not anymore.
It might be not anymore,
yeah.
but before, like, all of the subtle... I say subtleties, but, you know, like, the fact that he doesn't truly have faith in his own faith, and he's, like, doing these things that is gradually undermining the faith until he got fucked with just now.
Well, two things on that. First off is, yes, it's absolutely true. However, I don't think anyone is that the complaining about this is one thing, but it was all done with rules and things that were approved and all of that. It could have very easily gone a different way, where people just say, your character, he's fucking dead, as he gets hit by 10 dudes with true faith and 10 awakened choristers as they fucking rape you to death. And that would have been arguably fair if you're fucking sleeping in the Vatican, but nobody did that. And that's because, well, out of character. Obviously, this was planned in some way.
That was
That's a more satisfying ending, is to have characters with stakes and all of that do the things. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. The powers that be would absolutely go, this person is fucking undermining this, or whatever the fuck.
Right.
So would they neutralize them?
Having an NPC do that is not nearly as fair.
Would they hush drag him away and deal with him quietly?
No.
I mean, if there wasn't a plan to do that, I mean, I'm not totally for that in most cases, just because there's a lot of characters who should just be fucking dragged off into the night. But that's also why a lot of those characters avoid very prolific and highly observed positions, like being a president or a pope or a fucking whatever, is because being in the spotlight means people are looking, and when people are looking, when you run into average people on a game, when you go to Burger King and just act like a high roller, and 25% of the people there want you dead, as in actually want you to stop existing, when you put yourself in a very public and viewed position, 25% of everyone looking will want you dead, and out of all of those people, out of all of those millions that will be observing you, some of them absolutely have pull and strings and all of that to conspire and just fucking execute you. Just look at JFK.
It's entirely possible that Burns would get disappeared upon this change.
I'm not so sure about that.
I would say, okay, here's the other thing.
What I'm saying is that he should have been disappeared before his change, but now that he's been changed, he has a significantly longer shelf life.
His military force is 6, and status 5, the Catholic Church, will go a long way toward making sure he doesn't get disappeared. You got to get past 500 men in the Vatican to disappear him. Yeah, those were your words.
Well, if people were gonna run that game where you fucking assassinate the Pope on a game, I wanted to run that so that I could kill everybody for doing that. But after he's already on the throne, then it's like, I think I established it enough where they might not kill you right now, but they know something's off. Like I don't need a third eye and magical awareness to look at you and know that you're undermining the faith in some way.
I just realized this thing is entirely useless now. I have to rewrite it, because in character he would rewrite it.
What's really great about that, though, is that now he won't be undermining the faith. Now he'll be considered one of history's great popes. He will be remembered forever as one of the best popes in the world. Generally speaking, he'll probably bring a lot of people back over to the faith, and maybe even inspire some true faith in some people. In
which case, he will be doing this, and he will not be playing games. because that is not his objective anymore.
Well, it's
Hey,
more
man,
like
enjoy the retirement.
you can't.
Most
retire.
characters don't get to live past 2 years.
You can keep trying to use the games to like do more good, and then bail out if they make you do bad stuff.
Honestly, the suite I gave him is not that fucking restrictive. Like, it's not more viciously restrictive than what a lot of high rollers have as self-imposed shit anyway.
You turned his character on his head and spat on his face. That is entirely restrictive. You essentially took his entire being and everything that he was ambitious for and trying to achieve and turned it around and told him to go do something else. And then you changed his character itself.
Well, I didn't change his nature.
The thing is, his actual character, his being, was fucking angry and outwardly angry towards certain aspects of life. And he is no longer outwardly angry towards any of those things. His entire character has been inverted, not just down to the things that he wants to achieve, but down to the way he goes about achieving them, and the feeling he has about life in general has been entirely inverted. And so I don't even know how to play him as a character.
You were talking about masturbation earlier, and now you're giving him a hand job.
I have no choice. Mechanically, I cannot not give him a hand job.
Shouldn't have called me Chinese. That's all I'm saying.
I see. Well, it's more like an out of character flex for Dylan, so he can say, "Ha, I did the thing."
Well,
and you did the thing.
You haven't stopped out of character jerking off about Burns in months. Right? Like you wouldn't shut the fuck up about it. You were talking shit on anybody who said that's not a good idea.
Yes.
Bad things will happen. And you were like, "Oh, bring it on. If you kill me, I win."
Of course, it was inevitable. It was always going to happen eventually, because when you make a character even slightly obnoxious or slightly tests other characters,
He's not slightly obnoxious, and he doesn't slightly test people.
He doesn't test. He hasn't tested anything. He just tries to.
I know for a fact that is not true. Dylan has at least 2 characters who have it out for Burns. At least 2.
No, they don't have it out for Burns. Burns has it out for them. AJ's not pursuing Burns. Abel's not pursuing Burns.
Does he or does he not create an interesting dynamic in games because of the way that he approaches situations?
No, it's not interesting.
Chris, you haven't even been on a fucking game with them.
Yeah, but I've listened to them. And I know that if I was on a game with them, it's not very often that I initiate PvP, but yeah, this would have happened a lot sooner.
No, it's not. Burns isn't interesting, and that's what everyone's been trying to tell you. And then we said bad things are going to happen if he keeps it up.
No, you've been trying to tell me that. As a matter of fact,
and hey, there's room for joke characters. My big problem with it is that he's trying to be above where he ought to be, and that's that a Joker character that fucks with other people and is angry and has all these flaws and whatever. Yeah, those can exist, but when they try to change the gears of the setting, that can go fuck itself.
Damn. How dare he try to have some character development to become
there
more
was no character development.
What was that you just listened to?
There was literally...
That was you describing yourself as your character being inverted to the point that you no longer want to play it. So if this is character progression, right, then no character progression has occurred thus far in this character's life. Really consider that.
Yeah, there has been no development for Burns. There's just been increasing dots, threatening people. That's all he's done his entire career. And
Dylan, that's what it looks like from the outside, because that's what all characters look like when you don't know exactly what's going on under the surface. Look at AJ. What is AJ but a pile of study points and a fucking drug addict? What is Gregory but a ghost that flies around and does nothing? They have things going on.
You can be reductionist. You can be reductionist, but in the very first game you ran with AJ, his entire ambition changed on that game. Like directly.
And so did Burns. You think Burns, he started out trying to be a swindling priest. When he realized he could do these things and get this far, he changed. And he started playing the game
properly. What is he now but a swindling priest?
Hey, if you want to talk about character development, then you should keep playing him and roll with the punches. That's character development, is rolling with the punches.
Maybe watch a few documentaries about what a pope actually does during his day.
Well, I'm not doing
just running around cursing and smoking and drinking and just generally being a blight.
Damn! Imagine playing a character that and had people laugh and created an interesting dynamic.
It never
Fucking
made
hell.
me laugh.
Everybody's character makes
Because
people
you're a
laugh.
stale ass nigga sometimes.
You're just fucking whining.
Exactly. So I'll stop whining and I'll go to bed and I'll think about the way I can approach the situation.
Yep.
Good night, gentlemen.
Take care. Character development, my asshole.
In defense, Burns. I thought
What
it
the
was
fuck
funny.
did you
Deserves
do
no
to his character
defense.
there? I joined in late. How did the conversation go?
He got
It went great for the setting and for Burns as a person, but not for Bishop as a person.
Yeah, he's going to be remembered as a staunch defender of the faith, as a protector of the innocent, builder of orphanages. You know, a man who came up from nothing, who came up from a dog shit poor, miserable childhood, and got all the way to the highest ecumenical office, and then made sure that that wouldn't happen to anybody else.
None of this is the point. If you rewrite my character sheet with powers, I'm killing you before you can do that. It's not the what actually we got to. It's
Like
the
to
how.
see you try.
Yeah, it's more like I
I'd
understand.
like to see you try to
'cause it's
kill my
like,
character.
I walk into
If he
a
had-
room and now I have like 20 flaws, and now okay.
If he had tried to kill me, that would have been fair fucking game.
That's the
Well,
point.
that's
Like
the thing, is
when you
that
guys are
have-
throwing these
when you have-
powers
when you have
around or
social
whatever.
Combat, you
Also,
have
you
that
play fucking
potential.
Gregory,
You walk
who
into a
rewrite-
room. You are just as likely to leave in a body bag as you are to leave with 20 points of flaws.
Also, you
So-
play
so
fucking
watch
Gregory,
out.
who rewrites people's character sheets on the reg. So, like, you don't really have a leg to stand on here.
Wait, I did what?
Correct.
Yeah, you play fucking Gregory, who regularly rewrote people's fucking memories and read their minds and violated agency across the board.
State a single example of that being done to a player.
Every single time you used old friends on a player.
Not on a player.
You've used that, yes. You've used that
Yeah.
numerous times on players.
Is that really?
Yeah.
In fact, that's your main usage of it.
Is that really
Yes.
the same thing, or is that just like rolling dominate?
It
so,
does
like,
not
people
actually write down
perceive you?
anything on your character sheet
But
or
here's the
change
thing,
you.
right, TM? Like,
And this
Gregory-
isn't
Gregory has a
equivalent.
problem
You know the
not being
point.
a character, but he doesn't aspire to be something more, and that's why he's tolerable and fine. He can be a ghost that rewrites, brains and generally fucks up everything around him. He has that agency, but he doesn't try and skull fuck the setting by trying to become, I don't know,
Also,
the head commissioner of the EU
That's not the
or the
point.
president of the United States.
Also,
That
The
is
Pope
the point. That is
can.
absolutely the point. When you
No,
make,
that's not the
when you
point. That's
make
not what I'm
toilet
talking
paper
about.
Of the
Whoa, whoa,
fucking,
whoa.
that's what I'm talking about right now.
hold your,
Well,
hold
yeah,
your
that
fucking-
was
why
another.
this
That's another
entire thing
topic.
happened.
Well, hold your horses
No,
for
it
a
isn't,
second, because
actually.
Burns had no problem forcing people to write down shit on their character sheet, and I can pull AJ's out because he fucking rewrote shit on mine.
Yeah, and
Correct.
that's also bullshit. That's the point. Like,
It doesn't count
It's
when
not
it's somebody
bullshit.
that I like.
Yeah, it doesn't count when it happened to you, and it doesn't count that
when
Bishop
it happened to me.
dared me to fucking
No.
do it.
First of all, I'm not addressing the fact that fucking around with the setting is bad or good or whatever.
It's bad, explicitly.
Yeah, I know, I get that, and I'm not addressing that. Second of all, I'm just saying, like, the use of these powers specifically to rewrite the whole character is why Bishop is pissed, and that's obvious.
And
Now,
That's
yes,
like saying the use of your
when
mythic manipulation
people run
to do
around-
anything else is going to piss you off because that's the point
Yeah,
of
and-
the power.
The use of your
that's,
character
It's
know,
like saying,
rifle.
"Oh, you used potence to
I
kill
haven't
me."
used it, but I can tell that, maybe you need to keep in mind, like, not fucking around with
No.
it too much. Because
The
I
use
had
of-
Well, that's the
Greg's
point, is that
dominate.
he hasn't- he
Hey,
hasn't
hold on
butchered
there.
too
You
many
guys have been
character sheets.
screaming at each other for 20 minutes. Let me make my
I haven't
point.
said anything actually. So
Yeah,
don't
maybe
give me
not.
that shit.
But
This fucker's been
no.
running around taking a fat dump on the setting for a very long time, and that's why
And-
I slightly agree, right? Butchering each other's character sheets isn't good in the same way that killing each other all the time isn't good. But when you go around doing that to other characters consistently, and you do that to the setting consistently, and show absolute irreverence for it, then yeah, you deserve to have your character sheet torn up in a manner like we see
Yeah.
here in Active Game.
Right, and it
And that's
could've-
what happened here today.
it
This
could've
doesn't
just-
happen all the time.
It could have just been a fucking murder, right? And it's
Oh,
no
okay.
different than using your assault rifle to kill another character, right?
If it's well, if it's
You're trying to
clear
defend him, but
that
you have
it's
nothing to stand on right now.
you're trying to defend him, you're trying to fucking condemn his character, whatever. And so, just because I'm saying that the way it was done it doesn't seem right.
What would you do,
Um,
TM? Do you agree that he
I
is
would-
guilty of doing a great crime to the setting by basically
To the
being
setting,
a shithead
yes.
and saying, yes,
Let
I am
me
the Pope,
reiterate
and I'm gonna-"
again. Nth time.
Yeah.
Nth time.
No, I
The
think
part where he fucked with the setting and so on and so forth. I'm not involved, but I can tell that what happened, and
Well,
if he
that's
needs
the
to
crime,
fucking die
and
for
he's
it,
paying
okay.
for that right now.
But the
So
point
what
is
would you do? What
that
would
the
you do,
reason
TM?
what I would do is that I would declare in character to the character that he's fucked up. The entire setting is after him, and that bad things are going to happen. Because
That's
what happened
already
is
been
that
done.
he called in another high roller for something
Did you
fairly
say no?
unrelated to the
Because
fact
that has
he just.
happened. Other characters have told him, don't fuck around doing this shit, otherwise you're gonna catch hands.
Did Genkyo do all of this because he opposes the fact that this character has been fucking with the setting?
no.
He did it
No,
for
that's the
personal
point.
reasons.
It is for personal reasons, and that's what I mean. Like
Which is the same.
in this instance,
same-
you know the guy got his character sheet written, he had it coming, okay, but
well,
the
it's
reason
not
he's
it's not something that people are gonna make a habit of.
yeah, well, you know, I don't know. It seemed like I'm also saying this because this mythic manipulation type of stuff of I put flaws and I put this and that and the other on your sheet seems like it's happened a couple times.
Scary, threatening, yeah, because there's a couple characters
Scary,
that base
threatening.
themselves
No,
around that.
it hits to the core of the game where you have a character and you get used to playing it, and then you have to change what character you're playing without
Well, it's
that
either
change
that or
being
you stop
something that
playing
you
that
wanted to
character
do.
because the character is now dead. That's the binary here.
Right.
Is that those two are functionally the same thing, just with different character approaches. Somebody using firearms mastery to shoot your guy dead is functionally almost worse than doing this, because at least if you get your character sheet rewritten, you still get to play that character, even if they aren't their original selves.
There's also
I don't really think
you can
about it in those terms.
You can also
I
get
mean, you'd be wrong, because you still get to play your character, whereas if you get shot dead
Get
with
to,
firearms mastery,
and then
you're
dead, whatever.
dead.
It's
Well,
the story, right?
here's the thing.
Radically, the character's entire story just takes a left turn because.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
that happens in real stories and real
Yes.
life.
And
Like,
also
what's your point?
I don't know.
neglecting
No.
one important factor. It doesn't cost that much to buy off flaws with XP.
It will
Yeah, that's
to
true.
buy off that shit.
Buy off the
And you need a
phobia.
way to do it.
Buy off the phobia, and then you can work from there. Easy peasy. Just a
But
setback.
isn't spending XP to buy off your phobia? Isn't that playing into the phobia that you would be afraid of spending the XP?
Maybe. Depends on how you fluff it, but
Phobia spending XP.
it's
The
still
phobia-
it's
all
still
for-
rules legal.
It's all for the cause of going back to normal, but he has a phobia of going back to normal, so he can't spend the XP to go back
but
to normal.
It's still rules legal, and it's really up to the player how he fluffs it. So I wouldn't actually
I
really
mean,
get that.
it's overcome. It's quite literally the state of overcoming that fear of going back to your
Yeah.
old self and saying it's okay, because even though I overcome this, right? You buy it off. You still have all the other flaws, so you're not going to become it overnight. And that would be like the rationalization.
Look, it's just like getting FOMO'd, right? Which certain characters
Well,
can
it's
do to
actually
other
better
characters.
than that, because you can't come
Yeah.
back from that.
Right. It's not as bad as getting shot dead, which he did try to do to my character, right? Like the point is that none of this would have happened if Bishop in character was not ragingly belligerent to everyone he walked through. And it wouldn't have happened if Bishop out of character wasn't literally, and I do mean literally, daring me to do it.
Yeah, but did you do it with a character that had it out for him?
I don't need to do it with a character who had it out for him.
I
Because
think you do.
But
in
he
this
also did.
Well, I do have it out
Like
for you know why?
if I fly in Gregory and I dominate the Pope and I tell him to go fuck himself, because my other character got shot in the head. Well, I don't remember
No.
what he did to my other character, but something happened. I
If
think
you
he
want-
did something to Eugene.
If you want the in-character justification, everything Burns did was because he's got that vengeful flaw and the sadism shit, right? Gengyo's also got a fucking temper, and he called him Chinese. And Gengyo has killed people for less.
Okay, well then you're starting to line it up, but I sat through that conversation and it sounded different than that.
Do I have to tell him why I did it? Do I have to tell him in character why I
Would
did
somebody with mythic manipulation give away that they're doing something because they're angry at somebody over a petty
Did
reason?
Did you say it out of character?
I did.
That he called you Chinese?
Yep.
And
I
that
did
all
say-
this was over being called Chinese?
And I did say in character, don't fucking call me Chinese again, please. And he did it again.
If he gets to justify saying, I'm going to bomb the shit out of Tel Aviv because some Jews pissed him off once, well, you know.
Let me reiterate. Again, he should be killed for that and all that stuff. But
Well, then
the
what are you
part
complaining
where
about?
you have, again, like because
this
the
character is
mechanical
similarly
use of this
unhinged.
power seems overpowered, seems broken when used on other characters.
Well, it's devastating,
actually-
just like every other character at a
Not-
similar gift range
not
could
at all.
similarly butcher somebody at this exact level.
Not at all. Iron Will completely shuts it down. Iron Will completely shuts it down. If he'd had Iron Will, I would not have been able to do that. Or I would have been able to do that with a massive amount of extra hoops to jump through, and probably would not have pulled it off.
And going forward, any character who walks in and has a conversation and is known to have mythic manipulation, people are just going to understand. Okay, well now it's now you're
Now
allowed
you're
to
thinking like
now
a
it's
high roller.
player killing. Well, now you're killing. Well,
Yes, maybe you shouldn't just talk to every single person.
then
that you come
beyond like
across.
Gift 10, nobody talks to anyone. It's just a perpetual kill.
Not
It doesn't
necessarily.
have to be, but yeah, that's how you should approach every single challenge. That if you talk to somebody for too long, they might try and mind rape you, and if you touch the big shiny gem in the temple, you might get cursed for the rest of your character's life. And if you do something that's slightly out of line, something bad might happen. Almost like the games are meant to foster this idea of paranoia. Almost like high rollers are the best that there ever was, and so thus they have to be challenged by the most dangerous things, including threatening someone's life and character and even their personhood with a simple conversation. It's how the games go.
It seems.
Yeah,
I
but
understand
it's not
where-
lost on you that casual conversation tantamount to I rewrite your character sheet. He didn't see it coming because he didn't know this like existed basically.
Yes, actually he did. Actually he did.
He
After the
has his
first-
powers.
After the
He
Yeah,
first
he
literally
has this
has all
power
of
and
these
he's used it
powers.
pettily.
at the first time
Just saying.
at the first time I used it, he knew I was using it because he has the exact same power.
You
And he-
keep grasping for
Guys,
straws, but this man
no,
is
I'm not
guilty,
grasping
and
for
this
straws.
person is very
You're
aware
in a
of why this
courtroom
happened.
and I'm trying to explain why like the both of you were fucking yelling at each other by the end of it. It's
The
because
problem
it
is that
seems
he plays a certain character, and he doesn't want to face the consequences of it, and now he did. So that's really why he got angry, is because he didn't get to be a belligerent prick to everyone and everything with ever increasing.
No, I
power
don't think
level
so.
Forever. Well, you think
I didn't-
wrong.
I didn't
clearly it's because he had his he had the character essentially ended without him seeing it coming.
It's
And
only ended.
And
It's only ended if he chooses that, though. He can undo it. He's still alive. It can be undone. There are ways to do that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And also,
That is a point. It's just
I didn't complain one fucking inch when he did it to any other character I saw. Right?
maybe
Didn't
you should
complain
have.
one fucking. Well, yeah, but what am I gonna say? It's part of the rules of the game.
Well, all he did was break
complain
your
when he used
dick.
mythic manipulation to give me erectile dysfunction for a petty ass reason, and I didn't complain when he tried to use his military forces to kill me.
He a good boy. He didn't do
Start
nothing.
complaining? No,
Why?
fuck you.
Why?
That's what you're doing right now.
You are on your stand in the fucking courtroom when I'm trying to talk about
Why?
the fact that like the mechanics of this specific power make it seem like it isn't fair, right?
To you,
It's
they have very
three,
specific
to me.
rules that
It's
allow you
three-
to do certain things to a
Sitting
character.
on the
it's 3 gifts, and in fact, in this case, it's 4 gifts to make it actually permanent. It's 4 gifts to be able to do it and make it permanent that are shut down by a single 5-point merit. Completely shut down by a single 5-point merit. I mean, if you want to talk mechanics, Iron Will completely shuts it down. And secondly, I'm not going to complain when he uses his powers on my character because you know what? Like, they can't complain when you use 3 dots of dominate to rewrite their memories, right? Can't complain when you use firearms mastery to shoot them in the face. His character did what he did. Our characters did what they did. Everyone's got their petty things, and they start throwing superpowers around. That's how these things play out. And it would not have happened if he had not invited it upon himself, in and out of character.
You think you're talking to someone who doesn't understand this? Again,
No.
if you show up with a gun, they understand it's a hostile situation. You show up with dominate, they understand it's a hostile situation.
Right.
It
And
seems
Burns-
like this power turns non-hostile conversations into what hostile situations do,
And Burns,
without people understing that.
So,
First of all, dominate does
you can do that with obfuscate.
dominate
with
does the exact
regular
same thing.
combat powers.
But also, it cannot be reiterated enough. Burns knew exactly what was happening. He has the same powers. He got the role. He succeeded the role to know what was happening at that time and chose not to take any defensive measures. He knew it was a hostile conversation and he chose not to react accordingly.
He was trying to get free shit, getting his flaws bought off, and
Yep.
getting other shit. And he just happened to dig too deep.
I sympathize just on the point that it sucks. I would probably, even if it was justified, I don't think I would be trying to push as hard as he was, but I would be pissed off at like a giant list of flaws that I get smacked with.
No, sure it sucks. Right? It absolutely sucks. And you know what? If it happened to me, I'd be upset too. Right?
I mean, it did happen to me because it happened to Zane, but then I saw, oh, Dylan always tells me never to be a FOMOR and not like LARP, Warhammer 40k, and World of Darkness. Now I can do both of those, and it's his fault. And that's the only reason I was okay with it.
Right. That's rolling with the punches, right?
Yeah, but you know, there's the part where he deserved it, yes, but he didn't deserve it from Genkyo. That doesn't seem right. Like here, there's the Chinese thing and the erectile dysfunction thing, whatever. Well, why didn't that happen then instead of happening here 3 times later in a conversation?
Maybe you plan out revenge, a dish that's very well served.
Yeah, maybe you're retroactively saying this because it should have been Dylan's other characters ending the Pope for what he's done and what he's done to the setting.
I don't see how Genkyo getting pissed about what this guy says on the flight over to the Vatican and deciding to fuck with him, and then getting there and being disrespected further during the conversation and deciding to fuck with him further, right? I don't see how that's any conceivably different or more petty than Burns doing the exact same shit to AJ in another game, right? Now that's out of character, right? I don't see the difference here, right? And I don't see why you never had this conversation with Bishop about what Burns did. Because in character,
I haven't played with Burns yet.
It was, yes, you have. You were on the game where he gave me erectile
Yeah,
dysfunction.
with what character, huh?
Fucking Eugene.
Yeah, with fucking Eugene. Eugene has like 4 gifts or whatever, 5 gifts.
Right, but my point is, it was 2 petty assholes who both had mythic manipulation and mind control powers in the same room, being dicks to each other, and one of them lost. Just like 2 guys with guns being in a room with each other trying to kill each other, and one of them wins. Right?
And the idea that you have to declare that you're making a hostile move is some, I know you're Swiss and all, but Geneva Convention does not apply to high rollers.
this wasn't even the first time Burns got mythic manipulated. I don't know how he
Yeah.
changed his nature back.
But like you guys are saying, he deserved it. Another situation it worked. Again, you were very trying to convince him that this wasn't hostile at all, that this was all a good idea, that this was a good turn for his character to make.
In character, I was eager to convince it was non-hostile. Out of character, what I said was, I'm gonna fuck you up if they meet. And he sought out the meeting. Out of character, I said, it's gonna be hostile and I'm gonna fuck you up. There's no way it's not gonna happen. And he
Then
sought
why
it
is
out.
he so fucking confused that this happened, huh?
He sought it
Bishop
out
is a
out of
dumbass.
character. Yeah, he sought it out of character. And I told him out of character, you don't want that to happen, dude. Bad things are gonna happen.
He has marauder brain.
And he screamed at me, if you kill Burns, I win. You can't stop me. And I said, okay, dude, like, whatever. And then he sought it out. He sought it out. He literally called Genkyo up. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, out of character, he literally asked for it. Out of character, I said, you don't want to pull that thread, right? And then in character, yes, I was fucking deceitful as shit because that was the attack route. It was deceitful as shit in character. But out of character, I straight up told him, you don't want this to happen. I will fuck Burns up. And he said, do it, nigga. Do it, nigga. He said it. Yelled it at me. So like I said, I don't know what the deal is.
I'm sympathetic. I understand both ways. Maybe the flaws. Maybe there's too many flaws, but you know, I don't really feel strongly one way or the other. I agree that I'm gonna.
Well, this is the problem: is that a lot of people are fully aware of the consequences of when somebody uses melee mastery or fucking potence or fucking vicissitude, right? Vicissitude is a good physical analog to this. People are very terrified of somebody who has vicissitude and does that to their character and fucks them up permanently. And they treat it as an active, like, physical threat. But the fact that it happens socially with no visible repercussions somehow puts people at too much ease. But this is what happens when a character who has dumped into social combat actually goes balls to the wall. And this is what they can do to people casually on the side of the road. And that's why they are just as terrifying as people who have, vicissitude 5 and potence and all of the other physical fun stuff, because this is just social fun stuff. And they can fuck a character up in the same way that those physical characters can turn basically anyone into pink mist if they put their minds to it. It's just that people don't build up defenses against them. And there are defenses besides just having Iron Will. But people don't plan for that because they don't get attacked by that very often, because when you're a GM, right? You could have characters that do this sort of shit to them. And in fact, that should happen anytime anybody meets with a vampire elder or anything of that equivalent power level, because they all have these powers, right? They all have the power to skull fuck your character in this way. It's just that GMs choose not to utilize them that way because it's kind of mean. It's kind of rapey. But you can do that. That's in your tool belt.
Right. Yeah, like
fucking guard. Like you run into a Ragabash elder. They all probably have, if they're meeting up with high rollers in any way, they probably all have thieving talons of the magpie, and they can just take your powers.
Like that changed Conrad a lot to make him more paranoid when Alexander fucking read all of his like entire mind and everything about the technocracy.
And I rolled for that in text roleplay. Those were all discrete powers. That wasn't just me using Harbinger Fiat, which
no, I got that.
Do.
I got that. It's just that it
and he was being
him.
friendly. He was being nice. He's actually the nicest Harbinger because he's been fucked with endlessly as a player by Harbingers.
And if Conrad gets fucked up, he's gonna fucking crash his ship in Nova Roma and live there. But after that, that's why, when he talked to Nico and forgot that he knew Nico, it was like a job interview. I'm not gonna let you say more than you have to because I know what's out there, the powers people have.
Question: how many dots in cosmology does Conrad have?
5.
Has he been on a game to To the grim derpness of that future where New Rome is.
He
Is that why he knows about it?
Alexander was the harbinger for a game. It was the game where you gave us that one vampire book, and
All right, so you've been to both. Yeah, well, all right.
Converted that book into a PDF.
Right. With Cosmology 5, you know that the place that he was at and the place that you went to through the portal are two very, very distinct places. As
You're
in,
right.
the place through the portal is an umbral realm.
Yeah,
in game terms.
He's been to two places because you walked us through your robot factory, and that's what Conrad was interested in.
Mm-hmm. Just saying, they're two distinct places.
Yeah, well.
So I'd pick one to crash into if you're going to crash your ship.
Yeah. Didn't think about that. But yeah, I should crash into the DMZ land. Just be like, I tried to save the world. Fuck it. I'm out.
Fuck it, monkey.
Fuck it. Hey, monkey now. Yeah, whoever uses that sub first, it's whatever, but, keep in mind, there's no fucking way to find it, and something else has probably found it by now. And TM, I'm assuming, because Gregory was the radar for that ship, and he's no longer there, that crew is dead now.
I was?
You were, because that submarine had nothing, no electronic equipment. It was mechanic because your powers were the radar to navigate and everything.
Yeah.
So everyone on that sub is dead.
Yeah, most likely.
A submarine.
A primate submarine.
It's not the first one.
It's where I left it, so.
Yes, and Conrad can't find it because it's not electronic. So, I mean, I abstract a lot of what he's doing, but I'm also writing down a lot of what he's doing, and he has something looking for that and the whale.
Right. The whole point of that Premium submarine was to move the Premium flower pot around, and so technically it had to like make port somewhere so that the flower pot could be loaded onto a truck and then loaded into 18,000 years in the future. So the submarine's probably just fucking around somewhere, actually.
Yeah, it's just
no reason for the people to be dead. Like, the whole conversation with the fucking power and so on is just me thinking in the context of, well, if I use my dominate that way, would it be okay?
I mean, mechanically it would be okay, and perhaps there is merit to what you're saying, that this essentially what you just witnessed was a fucking war crime, because it is. It's because the exact same as turning someone into lampshade. No, right. Sure, absolutely. But the thing is that this character and every character that has the potential to do this to every character and chooses not to is the same kind of contrivance where fucking people with rage and people who have, berserker powers and whatever just simply choose to go on these games and be friendly with the other high rollers instead of just outright killing them instantly, like their nature and their template probably says they should. They do so out of respect for the games. And in this instance, this was a show of, it's a show of the characters being candid with their powers because the character deserved it.
Yeah, no, Erwin would have definitely been baning like every character he saw if it wasn't for people telling me to stop doing that out of character.
Well, sure, and that's why this didn't happen to Erwin. Like, there wasn't a side game where Erwin got skullfucked by somebody who was further along than him at the time, right? Because when you have respect for the setting will respect you back, but when you disrespect it, then you'll pay in Paradox. You'll have the things that you have been avoiding off of the goodwill of other people out of character, not in character. And the realistic thing will happen instead of the merciful thing. which is that most characters, right? This isn't just him either. Pretty much every character, except for ones that go distinctly out of their way to not be, should really be hunted to the ends of the earth by pretty much every agency, every group of people, everything that has power in the setting would probably do that if they were treated appropriately. But they're not, and so that's chalked up to things like inefficiency and people not knowing where they are, and people being okay with their reality deviancy, and people being okay with their fuckery and whatever, because that's how it'd be in real life. Because if somebody was running around being a retard priest, just shitting on people and mind raping people and being generally corrupt and a vagabond, most people would just go, well, that's terrible. I really hate that, but it's not really affecting me. But when you crawl to the highest stations of power and demand through gifts, which were approved for some fucking reason, to be treated like that, well, now all that mercy kind of goes out of the window, because that affects everyone in Christendom. And when your Pope doesn't even know what the word Christendom means, yeah, you deserve to get skull fucked. I'm just going to say that outright.
Yeah, it deserve, yes, but
And he
again,
did.
And he did, yes.
And there was I get what you're arguing here,
didn't
GM,
seem
that
to
this
have it out
person
for
wasn't
him.
the most appropriate arbitrator of justice, but this character, Gengyo, is a vengeful mind rapist, and he happened to piss him off in a reasonable way for him to go guns akimbo on him with his mental powers. And he chose to, and maybe there was other characters who would have been more appropriate to do that with, but whatever. Like, maybe Lee Harvey Oswald wasn't the best person to kill JFK, but he did it anyways. Maybe Mr. Gavrilo wasn't the best person to kick off World War I, but he did it anyways.
Terrible fucking example, because most of those things are conspiracies.
Yeah, but in the case of Gavrilo, that one is a really shitty conspiracy. As in, the people who were doing it were the most inefficient and the biggest failures, who couldn't even get their chemistry right to fucking make 5 bombs.
Yeah, it was funny. Broke his leg.
But that's the point, right? Is that, yeah, I guess there could have been more. There could have been a more poetic arbitrator of justice, but really, was there? Because no one else is really playing. Even if he's ghettoified, even if Gengyo is the Walmart Chinese brand Demon the Fallen character, no one else is playing a Demon the Fallen character. So I don't know. Is there really anybody better than a fucking made in China angel to unfuck the Pope?
It's not whether there's a better hitman for the job. It's, again, there's a line beyond which I could run around with the trillion fucking with the dot monster and do dot monster things that look exactly like what happened here. And that line hasn't been crossed in the little interaction I heard. Now he says that a lot of other things happen, like being called Chinese, which it's pretty bad. But with that specific character, it just didn't sound like the line had been crossed, and it really just did sound like he was having fun doing it, convincing Bishop that it was a good thing for his character until Bishop decided otherwise, and then it was about fuck the Pope.
And are you not supposed to have fun when you fucking kill people?
No. When I'm explicitly saying, which I again I'm repeating because it doesn't seem to internalize, is that it seems that it's like retroactive, that you guys have decided
really
that this
not,
was a hostile
you're
situation.
saying that like everybody should have their games be like your shitty van shit shows where some small amount of conflict brews up, and that should be taken to the nth degree right then and there. You should have a nigga moment and die on the spot instead of be a real character and go, man, fuck this guy. I would like to kill him right now, but I'm a little bit disadvantaged, so maybe I'll sit on that and then do it later. And that seems to be the thing that you're criticizing, when characters can plan and sit around and go, well, I'll wait until I get an opportunity like this.
No,
Because
okay.
the
Let me
idea that you
repeat.
have to,
I'm just going to repeat over and over and over.
Well, you're repeating a very,
It
very
seemed.
bad point.
It seemed.
That doesn't make sense.
No, because you're not hearing it. Don't want to hear it.
I'm
the
listening.
point-
I'm hearing what you have to say, and none of it is really a valid criticism.
Was that I don't buy it that he walked into that conversation knowing that this was how it was going to end.
Who, Bishop, out of character?
No, the bishop had no idea about anything. That's clear. No, Genkyo.
Gengio didn't walk into this knowing.
Yeah, that he was going to fucking up in the Pope. And so what happened in the meantime in that conversation to make that happen?
I mean, he did actually.
Okay. All right.
Like he showed up to do this thing with him on, because Burns likes to like flounder around saying he has a list of people that he's gonna fuck up because he has vengeful.
He also mentioned the list.
Well, yeah, and like if you could presume that, right? If that's a fair benchmark to say what Burns did with that flaw is accurate, that people slight you and you put them on a list and you fuck them up someday. Well, fucking Gengio has that. He has that fucking flaw.
How many points is vengeful again? Is it 2?
It's only 2.
Okay, good. I would tell Dylan to take that one for the thing he DM'd me, but he's not here.
But yeah, like that's my point is, well, you're saying this didn't seem like it because it was an expertly operated attack. We didn't know the troops were there until they were doing the thing, and it's like, well, yeah. That's sort of how a covert strike kind of works. We didn't know we were being fucked until the gunfire was in our brains.
Yeah, and then when it happened, you still didn't hear it. It still was a conversation about how this was a good thing.
So?
For a while after, no, because he could have just said, "Gotcha," and then it would have been clear, and then nobody would have been fucking having an argument, and we wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah,
anymore.
they would. Fucking Bishop. They still
Bishop would have bitched and moaned, but we wouldn't be having an argument about this.
I don't know what the point is here because I think it's fairly clear to everybody involved that this was a skull fucking. Like I don't know what point you're trying to argue for. That he didn't know he was getting fucked.
Like I did with this other character. I show up with my character that has dominate. I do the dominate thing mid conversation. And then I don't spend the rest of the time, both in and out of character, trying to convince the other guy that this was just a very benevolent thing and it was a good idea all along. Instead of saying, "Yes, I dominated you because
that's not how the conversation went." Because the conversation went, "Yeah, you got fucked, but here are ways that you could salvage this." That's pretty much what he said. And then Bishop responded, "I can't play this. I am unable to play this character. There is no way I can spend hours playing this character."
Yeah, I heard it.
And that's what happened. And if you heard it, then I don't know why you're making this point. Like, I get it's ugly. PvP is always ugly, and you just witnessed a murder, but I mean, whatever.
By social combat.
This ain't the first live leak video you'll see, especially as the end times come up.
Social characters are fucking evil, and this is legit how they operate. Like if you put yourself in the shoes of someone being manipulated, how do you know? Like, is it something I try to enforce? Is like when you get a derangement, people act like their character immediately knows that they have the derangement now. But so I have to tell them, no, you don't fucking know that. You haven't figured it out yet. It's
video game brain. They have now bad thing on sheet, so their character enters hostile mode and roll initiative.
Yeah, I mean, some derangements make sense, like hallucinations and